Hey folks, this is ioEther and I'm back with some more World Tanks. So, as you can see, this is Archetype in his T29. This is a tier 7 game on Abby. And once again, XVM has decided that it doesn't really want to work. That's lovely. Oh, I hate XVM sometimes. Love it when it works. Can't stand it when it... Anyways. So, it looks like Archetype is going to venture down this 1-2 line. It's... this is the place for the heavies and the 8 line. Those are two normal places for the heavies. Now, of course, this game is a little bit different from most games, as it seems to be dominated by TDs on both sides. Though we have a bunch of mediums, whereas they have, what, 2? Wait. No, okay. For a sec there, I was wondering about the dominance of premium tanks in this game, because there's, what, a Ticker Max, there's a Fury, Firefly. Firefly's not premium. What am I thinking? 122, 44. There's a few different premium tanks in this game. So, interesting. Don't think that'll really mean anything. Our Fury has... their Fury is already dead. That's interesting. I just had to find something to talk about. Well, the T29 moves into position, so Archetype is now going to move up so he can lead this flank. And we're in fixed camera. Why are you looking at the ground, Archetype? Point the camera up, please. Thank you. He must have been doing something while driving, because the likelihood of wanting to stare at the ground while driving forward in a heavy tank seems very unlikely. Now, of course, he can sort of keep pace with his medium tanks. He does want to. He actually wants to get up in front of these guys. Whether or not they'll let him through is a different story. IS-2, well, now they'll let him through. Nope, M4 in the lead, just charges straight into the IS-2, gets himself taken out in record time, and leaving Archetype to try and... Beautiful job defense. Oh, wait, nope, my bad. I actually thought he killed that guy with that shot. Well, that was just silly. Obviously, he didn't. Continuing to ram the IS-2 to try and get extra damage in, keep this guy tracked. Dick Rex takes him out, and now he's going to use the dead IS-2 as cover. And he's basically going to get hauled down against a bunch of enemy TDs. The enemy T29 is going to be a little bit of a problem, but he's really the only one. Unless, of course, he sits still and just lets the enemy put holes in him. If you wiggle the turret on this thing, that commander's cupola is extremely difficult to hit. But you gotta be juking back and forth. And at this point in time, I would actually be repairing my gunner. Or, not my gunner, my driver or my commander. Ooh, nice job letting the enemy T29 on fire. Unfortunately, he's unlikely to burn to death. Oh, he did. So that's either a lack of a fire extinguisher. I'm gonna say the enemy T29 decided not to bring a fire extinguisher, which is a little weird. It's definitely something you should have on all your tanks. And of course, if the enemy T29 had a fire extinguisher, he wouldn't have died in that battle. He would have been fine, it just would have been problematic. And now that Archetype is moving out, he has decided to repair his driver and push forward. Looks like our team is just going to clean this up fairly fast. And this would be a good time to spin around, because of course there's T25/2 that's going to end up behind you if you don't. Now it's possible Archetype's just trying to get up here into cover, but I don't think he is. I think for a bit he was actually going to head to the enemy base, but he really did need to stop and turn around, and then now he's setting up for a defense, which is what he should be doing. Now, preferably our T37 there can get some lights, but unfortunately that's not quite the way it turns out. T37 goes in for some shots and is probably going to get himself killed right here. No, the T25/2 is remarkably determined to focus on Archetype, probably because he thinks he's an easy kill. Obviously, that's not going to happen. And that is game. So that was a nice, fast game. And I was going to say it would demonstrate the abilities of the T29. But really, Archetype just sat in position to get himself made in Swiss cheese. Now, one thing to note before we leave. The only reason Archetype almost turned into Swiss cheese is because he sat there and let them take free shots at his commander's cupola. If he'd been wiggling his turret from side to side, even just a little bit, while he was sitting there aiming and waiting for his next shot to reload, then the enemies would have a much harder time putting one into his commander's cupola. Even something just as little as turning his turret like this, whether or not he's swinging it very far or not, just the fact that the commander's cupola will be moving effectively side to side because of the fact that the center rotation for the turret is about here, that puts whatever moves we make with her are exaggerated for this commander's cupola, makes it much more difficult for the enemy to hit it. If you sit looking straight on at an enemy, he will simply put shots into your cupola. Though the rest of this turret is absolutely invincible. So getting this thing hulled down, it just becomes a beast. Which is pretty much what Archetype did, except for the fact that, he let them put shots into his cupola. Other than that, great game. Beautifully well played. 1900 experience without premium, with his daily double. Earning himself the Mastery Badge 2nd class, Arsonist, Shell-Proof, Fire for Effect, and Bruiser. The Arsonist, I still can't believe that guy went up in flames. But he did. Spartan able to ricochet a shell with with under 10% hit points, obviously. Steel Wall, which he earned, and a high caliber, which I didn't really expect, considering how much damage it looked like he put out. A little bit of detecting. Now it says detecting damage, but that's because he took the IS-2's tracks off. That's a little weird. Normally it says 2 critical damage to enemy vehicles if you've taken enemy tracks off, because damage counts for 1, and actually detracking him, completely destroying the track, counts for 1. So that was a little bit weird, but okay. And of course the T29, he's set on fire, and then the guy must not have had a fire extinguisher. That's the only thing I can think of. 2400 damage over 1 kill. Should probably have been 2, but oh well, not quite there. The T25/2 got picked up by our scout tank here. 8 shots fired, 2000 damage blocked by armor. That is deceptive. Because the amount of times he got shot, it didn't feel like he absorbed 2000 damage worth of shots, but obviously he did. A little bit of assistant damage and some spotting damage. Spotting. Enemies spotted. For 4 minutes of work, that was well done. Got some sort of action payout for a quest or something. That was awesome, Archetype. Thank you so much for signing in. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, as always, the best way to support the channel is to hit that like button. Thank you very much. Have a great night. ioEther out.
Hey folks, this is ioEther, and we're back with some more world tanks. Side scraping. How to counter a player who's side scraping. So the E100 is trying to side scrape. And you can see, let's see where. Ronick is actually firing at the engine deck of the enemy tank. And well, that makes sense, because Ronick's gun is actually higher up than the enemy tank's engine deck, so he can aim down. And if he concentrates right, and if he T57. Really? How did you miss that shot on the T57? Really? That was like a free shot. So the enemy E100 is getting really pissed that Ronick can somehow penetrate him without being, without exposing enough of his tank so that this guy can kill Ronick. So Ronick's, again, gonna shoot for the engine deck.